So in our house each night, we really work hard to say prayers before we eat together. We have this really cool little book. It's a flip book, and it has all these common prayers for Thanksgiving. And sometimes I'm the one who prays, and sometimes it's one of my children. So on one particular night, I was racing this way and that way because I had to get out the door to a meeting, and I'm putting food on the table, and I said, "Torin, would you pray over the food?" And he's the one that I go to because he's the most willing to say a prayer for the family. Because he has said the prayers so many times, he's memorized them. So he said in a clear voice, "For these and all her mercies, may God's holy name be praised." And I stopped dead in my tracks and I said, "What did you say? What?" And he repeated, "For these and all her mercies, may God's holy name be praised." Now, I could have melted right there into the floor. I was so proud. Torin was showing his belief that if we are going to describe God in the masculine as male, then we can just as easily describe God in the feminine as female. The divine feminine is not something that everyone grows up with. You are so lucky because you go to a church that holds women in high esteem and honors the fact that when we think about God, God is not just Father. So today is Mother's Day, and I like to expand my joy and my honoring and my celebration, not just to women who hold the role of mother, but to all women and what they bring to the earth. Women are amazing. Holding women up does not mean that we don't value men, but their day comes in June and it's still May. Now, it would be hard to say that all women's gifts are this or all women are that because we have different qualities and we're individuals. What we should be able to agree upon is that women have had to fight harder over history to get the respect that they hold now. And that's taken a lot of courage. The first female minister was ordained in 1853 in a United Church of Christ denomination. In 1917, Jeanette Rankin was the first woman elected to Congress, and that was before women even had the right to vote. That didn't come until 1920. In 1928, Amelia Earhart was the first woman to fly solo over the Atlantic Ocean. The first female rabbi was Regina Jones, and that was in 1935. The first female astronaut, the first woman in space, was Valentina Tereshkova, and that was in 1963. The first female to climb Mount Everest, 1975. The famed singer Aretha Franklin, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. She was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. And the first woman elected to the Supreme Court was Sandra Day O'Connor, and that was in 1981. It has taken a really long time for people to fully see the value of women, to see that women can do all the things that men can do. They are just as smart, just as talented, just as capable. And when we look at the Bible, we don't hear as much in the Bible about women as we do about men. And that's because it was a patriarchal society. And patriarchal means that the men were in control. They had the power, they had the authority, and women were mainly excluded. Now, one of the many things that I love about Jesus is that you can tell from the stories of Jesus's interactions with women that he saw the value of women in a culture that did not. Jesus saw the value of women when they held no importance, no authority, no property, and had no say. He spoke to that Samaritan woman at the well, unheard of at the time. He healed the daughter of a Canaanite woman, Someone that the disciples tried to shoo away, and they told Jesus, just make her go away. He initially said no to her when she asked him to heal her daughter. But she changed his mind. Quite remarkable. Changed his mind. A woman. In the New Testament, we see people like Mary Magdalene and Lydia and Junia and Priscilla and Phoebe, all women held in high regard in the early church. So I'm so thankful that we have a day set aside for women, where we acknowledge the gifts that women bring. And I'm thankful that we live in a time where we can say him and her when we describe this all-powerful, compassionate, merciful, ever-present, and faithful God. Be well.